Okay. You gonna, like, show me my chat? Okay, I see. Cool. Maybe so. Okay, cool. Checking. Everything's good. Now, how do I get it to show me my chat over here? No, don't need the sidebar. I guess let's just drag it way over here so I know what I can see. Okay, cool. So... no loose cables. Yeah, that seems about right. I went and just got a monster, actually. Steven was nice enough to buy me, like, a 12-pack of monsters from Walmart that just so happens to have... just so happens to have only... it contains only 3 flavors, and it's the only 3 flavors I drink. So that's pretty cool. Also, why will this not power up? Okay. Something wrong with the PSU? Let's just recable it all. DS, how much do you actually know about computers? Because I don't get the vibe that you're on Connor's level by any means, but I don't think you're necessarily computer stupid either. What the hell? Okay, I think maybe my game is bugged. Okay, got it. So this may be a learning opportunity for you. Maybe, if you're interested in learning. Nope. It could be that I just need to, like, completely restart my game, but I kind of doubt it. Hmm. So... what, did the motherboard go bad? Surely not. This is the same computer I've worked on like 2 or 3 times, I think. It's also not automatically putting my cables in. Here, hang on. Let me reboot my game completely. No, I don't care about the Steam Cloud. Just boot the game, please. Ooh. Well, apparently we can run that menu at 80 FPS. That's neat. Can't aim. So, okay, hang on. Something here is weird. So we are plugged in. It won't even try to boot. Let's go back and read his email. Won't turn on at all. And that is all he tells me. Okay. So what would cause us to not boot on at all? Probably the PSU or the motherboard. Or the CPU. Just for the hell of it. Just try putting on some thermal paste, because it can never hurt. Well, you can do too much, but yeah. You get the idea. It's a good thing to check. Hook our cooler back up. Computers are hard to fix if you don't know the problem. This game has been super easy so far, unless I just buy the wrong thing, or it's like, oh, well, forgive me for not knowing that information about that component that I've never owned. In this case, it's looking like it might be kind of a pain in the ass. Do I have another motherboard I could even test with? Okay, first off, this is a Power King 250. Hang on a minute. And that's a 960 2G LE. That didn't help as much as I wanted it to. 2G LE. This has a wattage of 120. And this is a Power King 250. That puts out 250 watts. That shouldn't have very much power draw at all, really. But just for kicks, it's a 500 gig Barracuda. I say 200? $500. It doesn't even have a wattage on it because it's pretty much negligible. I mean, it's an HDD, but it's still going to draw some power. I would say this is an ADATA 4 gig. Oh yeah, I forgot. It'll mark it as his property. Like, I would say it could just be the RAM not being seated, but it's not booting, like, at all. Since it's the cheaper and easier option, I'm going to go ahead and say we might need to go ahead and order a new power supply. and hope that it's that. Okay, so what else? What else? Okay, I do have to consider the CPU wattage as well. This is a i5 6400. So DS, for reference, this is your CPU. That is the brain of your computer, pretty much. It's central processing unit. And they get hot. They get real hot. That's why they had their own dedicated cooler. This thing. And it just straps on there. And then you got to plug it into the motherboard. Like so that it can have power, so that fan will be dedicated specifically to your CPU. This is thermal paste. It is just a compound that, I mean, that may be true. You know what? We're going to try that before we go order anything, because that's a stupid, obvious solution. Oh. Okay, I really liked your idea, and that would have been like, oh, well, now I'm just going to feel dumb if I didn't try that first. However, I don't have a property note on any of these, and I'm pretty sure the 250 is what I just pulled out, and it says broken, so we do need to replace the power supply. But that is an excellent idea that I should have checked first. Good call. But thermal paste goes between the cooler and the CPU because it helps with thermal transfer. It can run without it, but it is universally a bad idea to try and run without it because it really could cause a problem if you're not cooling that well enough. If that goes out, your computer's dead. Just so you know, if you ever have need of that knowledge. Always use thermal paste. You can use too much, but so long as there is some, and if you're like working on it, you can replace it every so often if you want to. So long as that's actually used at some point. In fact, there's an achievement that you get if you forget to put thermal paste on. But yeah, good idea. I really should have thought of that, to be honest. That's... I'm not paying $100 for that, but I'll get it for tomorrow. And we'll just roll from there. It's got a PSU mount that I don't... I might as well put that back on. Losing parts is not really a thing in this game, but just for the hell of it. I'll just stick that down here for now since we can't work on it anymore today. Okay, this is for Hazel Leaf. Oh, this is the hippie chick that wants me to, like, use crystals and shit to fix her computer. We don't know what's wrong, but it does look kind of dirty. Yeah. That was a really good idea. I don't know why I didn't think to check to see if that was on there. I mean, if I press the P button on my keyboard, it'll go ahead and just... yeah, it'll serve you well one day. Just today may not be that day. Or anytime soon if you never end up building a PC. So I can kind of bypass it by just pushing the P button. But at the same time, in real life, that is an excellent thing to check. Like, that could have saved me a lot of time and effort if I was actually working on a real PC. Okay. So we don't know what's wrong with this, so we gotta diagnose it. No CPU found. I mean, it's right there. Let's see if it says broken. Yep. Okay, so we need a new G3900. Oh, shit. That one. We'll get that one for the next day, too. I'm going to put that down there since we can't use it either. And what's wrong with this one? Need to replace the PSU and the CPU. So here's the other thing about your CPU, is that it is really, really fragile. And I can't show it to you, I don't think. Maybe it'll let me. No, it won't. Is that it has a ton of teeny tiny little pins on the back. Like you can kind of see it right there. Where I see all those little holes. There's a pin that goes to each one of those. Excuse me. And if you bend one of those pins, because this little arm right here, not all of them are like this, but this one is, you can use this lever. It like brings the whole thing down and tightens it and locks it into place. If you tighten that down and your pins are not in the right place, you can bend a pin and ruin your CPU. So you gotta be really, really careful. Okay, so hang on. What did I take out of here? It must have been this Ryzen 3 1200, and as it turns out, I already have this one because I accidentally ordered it on a different one and didn't need it. So I'll just pop that bad boy in there. That or I ordered it for this and forgot. Okay, CPU is replaced. So put on some thermal paste. And this CPU cooler. And we'll go ahead and cable that up. Now, here's the fun part. We gotta replace the PSU, the power supply unit. So let's take off this part, this mount. And now we gotta go decable everything, which means I gotta go around this side. No need to unplug everything, just the stuff actually plugged into the power supply. Let's see, that must be what I bought this 400 for. Now we just gotta go cable it all back up. Connect to our hard drives. Connect to the motherboard itself. I don't know what that particular part is for, but it's also straight to the motherboard, so I'm assuming it's good. And we'll give it a test. And that worked. Love it. Gotta put the PSU mount back on. Got a side panel. That's a lot harder in real life because you got to do cable management and stuff. But that's what I like about not having to do that in this game, is that I can just do the job without doing the stupid ass hard parts. Yeah, that one's done. That one is this one. Delete that. Nothing else I can do. Already did my ordering and stuff for the next day. Okay, new parts. First off, let's go fix Bruce's computer. We needed a new PSU. It was the 250, I remember. Doesn't matter because it didn't take off the damn cover. Now I can put that back. I should cable that first. Plug the GPU back in. Give it a shot. All right, that one's done. And then Hippie Chick. There was CPU not found. So what did we order? The G3900. Close that up. Thermal paste. Nope. Oh, hang on. Her CPU failed because her cooler failed. First off, let's sell all my broken parts to clear up some space. We'll just go with a cheap-ass one. That'll do. We'll get it the next day because there's no time limit on hers. And we'll just tuck it over to the side for now. Got it. Still working on that. Don't have any money to give you. That's for telecom.aa. Did that one even come in yet? Upgrade my PC. Rig is broken. Alright, well, let's just grab one, I guess. We need to replace the PS3U, replace the RAM, complete in the next 8 days. Well, first off, blow this fucker out. It's dusty as hell. Oh, believe me, once you tried to boot it up without it, you would know. The problem is that unless you're replacing a CPU or upgrading to a better one, you really never have a reason to take one out. Like, unless something's wrong, like, honestly, just don't fucking touch it. Because it's not the most expensive part by any means. That probably goes to the GPU here. That's your graphics processor. So, like, your motherboard, the whole thing that everything else plugs into, usually has its own integrated graphics processor. So you don't need one of these. But, like, if you're going to be doing any type of gaming, you're going to need one of these because the integrated stuff is typically way less powerful than you need. The GPU is usually the most expensive part. At least one of them, depending on what else you buy. The CPU is probably the second most. Okay, the 8 gig stick of RAM. This one. And then the PSU. It's just screwed in. So I just need to go take off this panel. Did I order? Yeah, that's what this is for. Okay, cool. I forgot I ordered that. Connect our hard drive back up. Try again. Graphics card. Motherboard. Something else on the motherboard that I haven't fully tracked down the purpose of, but seems to be important. This one. Let's see where we're at. I really shouldn't be putting this panel back on. I'm getting cocky right now. See where we're at. Cool. It's done. It can go. Fix this one. Need to replace the RAM, replace the hard drive. Okay, that's what the Corsair Platinum is for. That's the 320 gigabyte. Cable it up. Had to replace the hard drive, so there's no operating system anymore. So we'll have to install that. Which, luckily, you don't have to do a whole lot for in the game. Even though I know how to do that, it's just much less of a pain in the ass if it does it all for me. Like so. It's ready to go. What do we need here? Upgrade to 16 gigs of RAM. This is 8 gigs. Oh, shit. I didn't buy any RAM for this. Alright, well. 16 gigabytes of RAM. Just buy the cheapest 8 gig sticks I can get. And we'll do an actual score later, because once I upgrade the RAM, that might change something. In the meantime, let's just throw something back in there to get it to boot. And I'll install my software and then take the RAM back out. Okay, well, we'll come back to that one. And then, let me see. Can't do anything with that yet. Can't do anything with that. Wait a minute, what? Oh, you want like a straight up build. Oh, okay. Okay. Got it. What are our specs? It just has to have a score of 3,000. I already got a case. Okay, DS, this is a perfect opportunity to give you a crash course. So this is your case. Obviously, you know the tower. The tower has the brains of the computer. This is not the brain. This is the brain. It's like in the movies where they smash a monitor with a baseball bat and then someone picks up the tower and plugs it into a different monitor and keeps using their computer. This is the cheapest case on the market, which is a micro ATX or an SATX. So I need that size of motherboard. The cheapest one is $100. It's an SATX and has an LGA 1151 socket type. So different CPU manufacturers use different type of sockets. So you have to pay attention to what you're getting, because if you buy a CPU that's not compatible with your motherboard, then you're screwed. I mean, the CPU is still good. You just can't use it with that. So the motherboard is what you plug everything into. It gets bolted into your case and acts as the hub that connects all the different pieces to each other. So let's go ahead and go with 16 gigs of RAM. RAM is short for random access memory. It's best to run it in pairs, so in my experience it is. So you always want to be running 2 sticks, usually of equal size. So if you're trying to get to a grand total of 16 gigabytes, I would go with 2 8 gigabyte sticks of RAM. But if you're only going for 8, then use 2 4 gigabyte sticks of RAM, etc., etc. Random access memory is just additional memory laying around for your computer to access at random whenever it needs to do some additional thinking. And it cannot function without it. It's very important. You have to have it, which is why sometimes if your computer just won't boot up, it's worth checking to make sure the RAM is properly seated in the motherboard. Like sometimes you can fix a problem by just unplugging the RAM and then putting it back in, and that can sometimes fix an issue. We're also going to need a GPU. That's your graphics processor, like we talked about. Just for the hell of it, let's go with a number 5, a 980 Gaming 4G LE. $350. That processes all your graphics. It plugs directly into the motherboard into a spot called a PCI, or more modernly a PCIe, PCI Express. It's just smaller and faster than the old technology, which is just PCI. I don't actually know what PCI stands for. It's just a way to interface with your motherboard for certain components. Like where your HDMI and stuff stick out of the back of your tower for you to plug cables into. That's through a PCI slot. That's your graphics processor. Like sometimes where your headphone cable goes or your speaker cable, that's a sound card usually, and that can sometimes be. There's usually something integrated built into the motherboard, but you can also add additional ones in your PCI slots. Network cards for like your Wi-Fi. Some of them are automatically Wi-Fi enabled, like motherboards can be, but you can also add a network card. That's all PCI slots. Storage. So that's your hard drive. That's where all your data is stored. I think you understand that one just fine. The only specifications he gave were a high benchmark score on how it can perform. So I'm just going to go with a cheap ass hard drive. That's going to be slow and small, but you know what? He didn't specify. He didn't say that's what he wanted. The CPU, that is your central processing unit. That's the brain of your computer, like we said earlier. It goes directly into its own dedicated spot on the motherboard, and is dependent. Which one you can use is dependent on what socket type. So AMD and Intel are direct competitors. AMD usually uses something different. In this case, AM4. And then a lot of the Intels use LGA 1151 or LGA 1200, but you have to know what you're getting. So in our case, we have the cheapest motherboard. It has an LGA 1151. So a processor that we need needs to be the same one. So in this case, this is the cheapest one, $40. Uses LGA 1151. We got it. Because we need to have that. A CPU cooler, in this case, doesn't matter. It's compatible with anything. Any of the socket types. It just has to fit over the CPU. It's just a dedicated cooling fan for the CPU. You don't typically have to focus on it as much in this game, but also fans that go in the back and top of your tower are also additional cooling. You do have to worry about those in real life, and a lot of times there will be some that come with your tower, but a lot of times those can be kind of crappy, so you'll want to buy additional ones, but we don't really have to worry about them here. So we got the CPU, we got the cooling, we got the motherboard, got the RAM, got the GPU, got the storage. This is your power supply. So your power supply is what provides, it supplies power to the computer. And depending on how much draw you're taking, you may need a different power supply. So, for instance, your CPU, this is going to draw 51 watts. That has negligible draw, so it's not going to mention it. Same for the motherboard and the memory. The graphics card is going to draw 30 watts. And storage is also negligible. So we got 51 and 30. So we need at least 81 watts of draw. In real life, you want to get a lot of overhead on it. You don't need to go totally crazy. If you only need 200 watts, you don't need a 1,000 watt power supply. But it's nice to have some overhead in case something starts to draw more power than it normally would temporarily, and you need a bit of overhead. Or if you need to upgrade to new components or add new components, it's nice to not have to replace your power supply every time you want to do anything. But in this case, 250 is way more than we need, so we're just going to get that. And that should be all we need on that front. And I'm just going to pay for same-day delivery for the sake of it, so you can watch it all go together without jumping through the hoops. So, we got the case. We took the panel off. We got to put in our motherboard first. So you unscrew these, and there's little stands that pop up out of the back of here. I'm not going to unscrew them all so you can see. So it rests on top of those. Motherboard goes in, and then you put the screws back on top of those posts, and it holds it securely into the case. Then we'll go ahead and put in our CPU, this cheap-ass one. Open up our shield. This is a different style of what I showed you earlier. This is an Intel one. They typically do things one way. AMD typically does them another. We'll go ahead and put the CPU in. We'll close our CPU shield. That lever on the side is what you have to be scared of, because that's what finally finishes tightening it all down. So you better make sure you're in the right spot, or else you're buying a new CPU more than likely. Go ahead and put our air cooler on. We'll go ahead and put our RAM in. You got these clips on the sides. You got to open them up, and then pushing the RAM into the slot pushes the tabs on the side back into place. So you got to open them first, and then the actual installation recloses the clamps. Graphics cards. Let's go ahead and put that one in. So this is your PCI shield. See all these little black spots right here? These long ones? The long ones are PCI, the short ones are PCI Express. In this case, we're going to do PCI Express. This is your PCI shield, or PCI lock. It just holds everything firmly in place, because especially with graphics cards, they can be so big and heavy that they can tend to sag in their spot. So this lock on the outside attaches to everything and locks it all in place so that it doesn't have a chance to take any damage or eventually wear out its spot and just stop working mysteriously one day. It just pushes in, and then you screw it in place on that end so it stays, and that's your GPU. So here's our storage. This is just a cover that goes over everything. This is your drive cage. And in this case, we got to go remove this other side panel so we can get at it. Not every case is the same. So that's your drive bay. You just set it down in there. In a lot of cases, there's also screws that go into the side, like over here, that helps secure it in so that if anything slides around, you don't lose your drive. But it doesn't make us do that manually. So I can go ahead and put that side panel back on. We got a power supply. It goes right there and screws into the back. Excuse me, that was my microphone. Okay, so now it's time to cable things up. So this is your main power for the motherboard. It connects down here at your power supply. There's a power for your GPU, but then this also connects to the power supply, so maybe that's two different power cables. To be honest, I've never had an actual GPU. I've only ever helped Isaac with his, so there's some things I don't know. This right here, that's for your front panel, like your power button, like you mentioned earlier. Got to make sure that's wired up correctly. It plugs directly into your motherboard. Your CPU cooler has to go into your motherboard. And here's a power port for this fan back here as well. I don't actually know what this one is, but it connects down to your power supply. So I assume it's like a fan controller or something, maybe. And then you've got a spot where you connect your motherboard to your hard drive so they can talk to each other. And then there's power for the hard drive. We'll go ahead and put our PSU shroud back in place, our power supply shroud. Put our side panel back in place. And I'm going to go ahead and put in my flash drive because that hard drive is completely empty and does not have an operating system on it yet. So we could boot it up and nothing would happen because there's no Windows or Mac or whatever on it. In this case, Windows or whatever Omega system it made up. And then we also got to install some software to check on its performance score to see if it meets the customer's specifications. Go ahead and restart it because evidently it wants us to reboot after any program installation or uninstallation in this case. This game's a little weird on that front. It must be a quirk of their OS. And now we wait. So DS, did that all make sense? Do you have any questions, or was it like a whole lot of, dude, what the hell? What's wrong? Okay. So we got an error. Let's reboot. If it doesn't help, then we need to go make sure we installed everything properly. Okay, yeah. So we did something wrong. Oh, see? I missed it. It's easy to do. I didn't put thermal paste on the CPU. Always, 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 never without it. But yeah, did that all make sense? Or was it like a whole lot of, dude, why are you still talking to me? I'm spacing the fuck out right now. I mean, hopefully that was informative to someone in the future or anyone else watching, but I'm curious about you. Hang on. Where is my internet? No, it's there. It's just Streamlabs that's unhappy. Oh, did stream die? We need a 3D Mark score of at least 3,000. And we just beat it, 3184. Cool, so that one's good to go. Let's see. That one. Collect. Paid me 700 for that. So it can go. Can't pay you that. That one still has a part coming in. That one's done. And we haven't done that one yet because we're waiting on parts. And this one is done. Cool. I don't like trying to figure out how far I need to upgrade to make this happen, so I'm going to reject that job. I don't like it. Same thing here. Ooh. That one's probably going to pay a lot, though. What do we got? A 980 Gaming 4G LE. Let's just bump him up to a 980 Ti 6G. Yeah, we'll accept that one. Okay, so we'll take this one too as an example because they want to be able to play Farming Simulator 17 on recommended specifications. So that'll be an example to show you what else we can do here. So we'll accept that one. Oh, he wants a new build again. Okay, cool. Yeah, we'll do that. All of those can go. So we need a build that can do that. We need to do an upgrade there. Gotta wait for it to come in. This one we already have, waiting on parts. Same with that one. So all it has to do is be able to play Farming Simulator 17, right? Is that what this is? Nope, this one. Okay. So on recommended specs, hang on, let me go get my my cloud node open. This can go. We need 4 gigabytes of RAM, 3 gigabytes of VRAM. I believe that stands for video RAM. So that's like I think that's equivalent, if I'm not mistaken, to the amount of computing power that your graphics processing unit has. We need 6 gigabytes of storage, which is really not a big deal. Sorry, again, that was my mic. We need an AMD Radeon R9 280 3G. That's our CPU. Oh, I'm sorry, that's our GPU. And then for the CPU, we're going to need an AMD Ryzen 5. Awesome, cool. Glad you're actually interested. Like, don't get me wrong, I am not the best teacher in the universe, but on stuff like this where I know the majority of my stuff, I love being able to teach people. So I'm glad that you're taking it to heart. And if you have any questions, speak up. And if I don't know, I'll be the first to tell you. Okay, so we can close that. So, we're going to need a motherboard with the correct socket type. So price, lowest to highest. In this case, we need a Ryzen 5 quad-core 1400. So that is an AM4 socket type. So this is the cheapest one currently available, and it has the right socket type, so that's great. We'll take that. We need a AMD. So we need a Radeon R9 280 3G. Now we need to check his email because sometimes they prefer. He likes Seagate components and he wants new stuff. Seagate is storage. Seagate makes like hard drives and stuff. So it doesn't matter in this case, so we can go with the cheapest GPU. So not too terrible. So we got GPU, CPU, motherboard. Oh, that's for a different job. We still gotta buy that. Okay. We need 4 gigabytes of RAM. So we'll just do a couple of 2 gig sticks. VRAM still needs storage. As long as we got at least 6 gigs. The cheapest thing on the market's 120, so we're good there. We need a cooler. And a power supply. So let's see. We got a DFL Radeon R9. Radeon R9. What did we get? The 283G. 283G. That's a 200 watt graphics card. And then a Ryzen 5 quad-core 1400. That's a 65 watt. So in this case, we should probably go ahead and get a 300 watt power supply instead of a 250. See, that's why you got to add up your numbers. We got to get a new case. What size is our motherboard? It's just the cheapest one. It's a micro ATX, which this tower will fit. Oh, hang on. We don't want more Tony. We want a Seagate drive, because it'll give us a better review. So let's get this 500 gigabyte one, and he wants all new parts. So easy. Just buy that now. That was so much money. And our case. And see, it all depends on your motherboard. Sometimes your stud arrangement is different. Go ahead and open up our CPU. This one right here. Thermal paste. Remember it. Learn it, love it, live it, breathe it, eat it. Oh, well. Maybe like tighten down your CPU first. And see, sometimes you have multiple RAM slots. And they're color-coded so that you know which ones to match up. Because you can put in a bunch of RAM. So long as it all matches up and your system is capable of handling up to a certain maximum, that's usually dependent on your motherboard and your operating system, I could theoretically, actually no, those are PCI slots down there. They're just also red. But if I wanted to put in, 32 gigs of RAM, I could put in 4 8 gig sticks. So long as I matched them up, I could put in 2 2 gigs and 2 8 gigs. So long as I matched them to the correct RAM slots. Where does it want to put this? Top 2. Now, not all of them. Sometimes they just push in and then your PCI lock holds everything together. But sometimes your GPU see this little external screw on the silver? Well, I guess it's kind of the same thing. It's just in a different order. I guess it depends on your case when you put those in. So, moot point. Never mind. Doesn't make sense in this context. I don't think it matters which one you put it in, the top or the bottom drive bay. But I like to put it on the bottom because it just feels more stable to me. But it really doesn't make a difference, I don't think. Now, he didn't specify any specific cable color, but I'm going to put in red because it just fits with the color scheme and I like it. And I already have them and it doesn't cost me anything to do. Let's see. Got the CPU, got the cooler, got the motherboard, got the RAM, got the graphics card, got the storage, got the power supply, got the cables. Now, I haven't gotten far enough in the game to really have to mess with any RGB stuff. And I've never really done a whole lot of that in real life either. So that's where I start to get a lot more fuzzy. I know there's different ways of doing it. Like there's different controller units and stuff you can use. But I've not really made it that far. Isaac is just starting to instruct me on that kind of thing. And we can run on recommended spec. So what? How do I... Does that work? Why isn't it telling me that I can do it? Can I collect on it? Oh, I have to actually attach his thing to it. So it attributes it. Yeah, there we go. Okay. That's not a computer function, that's a game function. Bam. That's done. What else we got? We got bland batter. I think we're just waiting on parts for both of these, if I'm not mistaken. So we go ahead and... Oh, hang on. Well, we ordered one of those parts. Probably this one. Right? Because we ordered a 980 Ti. Okay, we ordered the nicest thing there. So, yeah. Let's just go... First off, let's blow that out. I don't know if that's actually dust or not, or just a bad texture, but whatever. First off, I didn't buy 16 gigs of memory. I mean, those are both 8 gigs. Honestly, not a bad idea. Like, RGB inside is always nice, but all things considered, like, you know what, dude? Do what you have. That sounds cool, to be honest. So I need to go buy some RAM. I'll get that the next day, but I'll have it. He wants 16 gigs. Let's get 2 8-gig sticks. Next day, 150 bucks. And let's just replace that GPU. Yeah, screws like this. See, they have their own dedicated thing. Put that PCI lock back in. Okay. Why are we not... What? I mean missing parts. I already took the RAM out of this thing. Yeah, that would explain why it's not booting. Well, let's go ahead and try that again. Nope. What are we... Oh, I should try plugging the GPU in, huh? Giving it some actual power. That'd be good. Otherwise, it has no way to push anything to the display. Now, let's see. See, it's stupid little things like that that happen and make you go, well, shit, maybe I should never do this again. So that's going to run its thing. We want at least 3554, and we got to upgrade to the RAM. So even if that is successful, there's nothing we can do anyway. But if we have that going, then all we got to do is replace the RAM on the next day and then be done with it. Ooh, he's got a Razer case. That looks cool. My brother has a Razer. It's old at this point. It's like an old Pavilion. And it's been... Like, it wasn't even quite state-of-the-art a decade ago when we got it. It's still a good old computer, but it's severely outdated by today's standards. Maybe I should buy him a cheap GPU at some point. I bet he'd like that. Then again, if that's the case, he should just, like, you know, get a new computer. 4375. We just blew that number out of the water. So in the morning, let's just plug in that new RAM and be on our merry way. I don't know why I bought that CPU cooler, but you know what? It's good. And I don't even care. And it's going to make me run 3D Mark again? Really? It takes so long. Oh, whatever. I got other stuff I can go do anyway. I got a second workbench now. Okay, what ended up being wrong with this? Oh, that's what the CPU cooler's for. I replaced the CPU, but didn't buy a cooler for it. Yeah, that would be a problem. Cool, that's fixed. Okay, so that one... Cool, that's done. Still waiting on that. So we're trying to get to a 3D Mark score of 4829. That's pretty high. You know what? Maybe I should play, what is it called? Welcome to the Game? I forget exactly what it's called, but it's the one where you have to, like, find your way into a red room on the dark web and avoid getting kidnapped. That'd be a good game to stream, I bet. So let's see what we're currently at. This one, 4450. So that one's done. Cool. So I'm working on that one. Can't afford that one. These two can go. You know what? I don't even care if it's a scam. I'm doing it because I'm in this deep, and I'm going to build a League of Legends PC for a prince. So, is it a build? No, I'm upgrading. Okay. So if that's the case, it needs to be able to play League of Legends on recommended spec. Now it says recommended spec, not recommended 4K spec. So I'm going to assume I need this one. So we need 4 gigabytes of RAM, 6 gigabytes of VRAM, 12 gigabytes of storage, a i5 6600, and a NVIDIA GeForce GTX 1060 6 gigabyte. Now compare that to what we have. Fuck. If I could look at it side by side, man. Okay, fine. We'll just compare manually. We need 4 gigabytes of RAM, which we more than have. 6 gigabytes of VRAM. Oh, well, that doesn't even matter because we need a specific component. So we need an i5 6600, which we do not have. We need 12 gigs of storage, which is no biggie. We have 10 times that. And then we need a 1060 6 gigabyte, which we do not have. So the only thing we actually need is the CPU and the GPU. So we need an i5 6600. And then we need a 1060 6 gig in graphics cards. Nope. GeForce 660. Okay. I think that's what we need. Now, that's 120 watts. So that's 185 watts. 250 can support that. Cool. So we got to buy those. Film industry has gone too far. It's a newsletter, not an actual job. Gotta liquidate our assets. Please take our yachts. Okay, just gotta replace the HDD. No problem, Mr. Van Cleef. Stupid thing keeps crashing. It's gotta be the CPU. Seems a bit dusty. We need plastic orange cables, which I'd be happy to oblige because I love that color. That looks more like yellow to me, but you know what? I'm not mad about it. It's fine. Bit dusty. Replace the CPU, replace the air cooler. So it currently has a Ryzen 5 6-core 1600X. $1600X. And replace the air cooler, which is a Cryorig H7. What was it? An H7? Yeah. Cool. So we'll have all that come in next day. Okay, so now just today's jobs. $35.55. Okay, so we need to get up to $48.29, which is pretty considerably higher than where we're at. To be honest, I really don't know why it matters, and this could be my dad's outdated knowledge acting from a long time ago, because he knows a lot about computers, and he tries to keep up, but the majority of what he learned on was like Windows 95, Windows 98, that type of thing. So even he'll admit sometimes his knowledge is outdated. He always told me it's better to run sticks of RAM in pairs rather than a single one. I don't know how much difference it actually makes. That's just a practice I've continued. That may be kind of like how an image can burn into a screen, not really being very much of a thing anymore because we've changed the technology. Maybe it's completely irrelevant. I don't know. So maybe running one stick is totally cool now. I really have no idea. So I've just been running under the assumption that it's a good thing to do. 980 gaming for GLE. Let's just bump up to the 980 Ti Golden. Let's see what she does. Meanwhile, oh, I don't have any broken things to sell. Still, let's sell all the used stuff because people tend to not want used stuff. So we might as well make some money off of it. Oh my god, this benchmarking shit takes so long. And you know what? It's one of those, like, it may not matter. I really don't know. But I'd really rather not find out. I mean, at least it's an inconvenience if it doesn't work. I don't know if it would, like, break anything, but at most it's a major problem. Okay. So we got to 4,400. How do I boost that up? How much RAM are we running? 8 gigs? Okay, hang on. Let's bump that up to 16, see what it does. Oh my god, I can change my studio. Oh, that's so much nicer. I like that a lot, but I also like how dark it is with the Halloween decoration. So I'm gonna just stick with that. That's cool as hell. He's even got a little thing of pumpkins and candles by his door. I love it. Oh, it's taken 40 million years. Reeking of monkey madness. 4477. Still not high enough, but a little better. We were at what, 4400? Okay. What do we got? An i3? Okay, well that's part of the problem. Do I have anything laying around? I got an i7. See how it does. These are just extra components I accidentally ordered that I had laying around. So, you know, this works out so far. It's doing a little better. I don't know if it's enough to bring it up to the score we want, but, you know, we'll make it work. After I do tomorrow's jobs, I'll probably switch over to a different game. Do you have any suggestions? I've been thinking about doing some more RPG horror games like I did with Ebe. I don't know if you saw that one or not. I've been thinking about doing some Fallout 4, some Skyrim maybe. One of the other Fallout games I haven't played. I don't know. I got all kinds of stuff. Maybe we'll look through my library here in a bit, unless you got any specific requests or ideas. Outer Worlds, Outer Wilds, Rain World. There's another one. I forget what it is. Shovel Knight. Hell, I don't care. Got a bunch of stuff. Hollow Knight. That's what I'm trying to think of. Hollow Knight. There we go. That's what we needed. No, hang on. I should put the case back together first. Okay, so that's done. Let's go ahead and head back for the day. Okay, so got to replace the air cooler in the CPU and clean this fucker out. Oh my god. Now hang on, is this the one that wanted orange cables? Who is this? Orange cables and clean out the dust. So now we'll just remove every cable in this thing we can see. It's just part of it. Hell yeah. Okay, yeah, we'll look through and we'll pick something here in a bit. Okay. So, we need to replace the air cooler and replace the CPU. The 6 core. That one. Ooh, yeah, see, sometimes there's RBG on the RAM, too. I always thought that was cool. Alright, just like that, that one's done. Plop her down. Fixing this one. Replace the HDD. We've already done this a few times for this gentleman. Which one is that? I didn't actually buy him a new drive. But you know what? That's okay. We'll just give him the 1 terabyte since it's laying around and it's an upgrade for him and I don't care. I've fixed his damn computer like 7 times. Oh wait. Nope. We replaced his drive. Gotta reinstall the OS. Drive swap is so damn easy. The installation of putting all the stuff back on and actually like copying any existing data over is the hardest part. Okay, so complete League of Legends on recommended spec. Oh wait, I don't need this. I have my cloud notes. So let me see. We need the i5 6500, which we have. Oh, fuck you. Fuck you. And also the GPU, the 1060 6 gig. No, I should take that one out first, huh? Hell yeah. Okay. Done. 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 Oh my god, he actually paid me. It wasn't a scam. Holy shit. Look at me go. I'll go ahead and pay my Uncle Tim some money. I mean, I'm basically right back to where I was, if not a little better. Okay. I now own 10% of the business. Get rid of that. Computer just reboots randomly. It's really annoying. I think the power supply is fried. Looks a bit bland in there. Plastic blue cables might make it look nicer. And we like Seagate HDDs. So we're replacing the PSU, which is a 450. The 450B3. Right? Yeah. And the HDD, we want a Seagate 3 terabyte. Like that one. Cool. And then plastic blue cables. Do I have plastic blue cables? Yes, I do. From us around 9 months ago. Okay, so it overheats if it does anything too taxing. Probably needs an upgrade. You gotta diagnose it. No biggie. Still doesn't turn on. Disappointed to say that I have to teach a so-called expert how to fix a computer. Fuck you. Inclined to believe them. Could shoot the system over any malicious energies and purge them. I didn't get all the details, but lubricate all components of a highly diluted solution of thermal paste. Has the effect of triggering the computer's own cooling mechanisms, which may aid recovery from any malware infection. Okay, so when we run a virus scan. In the presence of the computer to drive out evil spirits. If you cannot easily obtain an ethically sourced sheep bone, a chicken drumstick will do. Place round magnets at the energy points. No. There you go. Do not get too close to the computer while conducting the ritual, or a magnetic essence will blanket the hard drive. So it's just a virus scan. No biggie. You know what? Fuck it, DS. We'll do one more day. This is fun. I fucking love this game. Oh shit. I didn't order the stuff in the cart. Fuck. Oh, fuck it. I can pay for it. Okay. Scan. Install this. What do you mean it still won't turn on? Fuck you. What obscene number of infected files am I going to see when I run this scan? Because usually it's around like 400 on the average person's computer. This person's probably going to have like fucking 400,000. Not bad. 415, pretty average. I'll just leave it on there. She's going to need it. Visiting her sketchy, witchy sites. Okay. So I gotta replace the power supply. Okay, hang on. This is the guy who... Wait, what? He wants plastic blue cables. What the fuck? Does it only look that way because of the lighting? Like if I... Okay, yeah, it's just glowing purple because of the Halloween decorations. See, that's the thing. I don't find it stressful. I think it's fun, but doing this actual work in real life is fun but also stressful, so I guess it's just because I know what it's like to have to put up with a lot of the bullshit, too. So this is not very stressful by comparison. But, you know, like, fair enough. Can't argue. It's very peaceful. Oh, here, hang on. I don't like the soundtrack music, so I get tired of it, and the online one stopped working for me. But, there you go. Shit. Well, I gotta unplug it all anyway, because I gotta replace the PSU. How's my game volume versus my voice volume? No OS found. I didn't fail to get... Oh, I replaced the hard drive. That one's done. This one needs diagnosed. Here's my question. Is there a way to... Okay, let's do it. Is there a way to change this, I wish there was a way to make the menu in the dark mode. So I wasn't so stark white. Right? Everything's on night mode here is I can't. I mean, I'm used to it here. It's just not my preference. Ooh, that's running like shit. No fucking kidding me. Okay, yeah, so we've seen this. Pretty sure this is an issue of just not having any thermal paste on. Yep, so that called the diagnose and fix. So while that's running, let's check these. You got it, sir. I don't like those jobs. Replace them. Ooh, we're gonna do a motherboard replacement. Okay. Granddad thought the PC needed oiling. The results don't seem good. Replace the motherboard, replace the air cooler. New parts, once cryorig as is air cooler. Cool. So we need a new motherboard, which is a Mortoni H170. And it's the MTech. Yeah, the MTech. And needs a new air cooler. He has the Cryorig H5 Universal. That requires a diagnosis. We don't even need yet. Okay, got it. Let me see. I think I need to go make adjustments here. There you go, DS. See how that sounds. I'll take it because I need money. Yeah, fuck it. Why not? That's done. Oh, so this is done. Cool. Go ahead and drop it since we can collect it now. Incomplete case. What did I miss? Oh, I didn't put the panel back on. In transit, in transit, in transit. We leveled up to level 8. And some new parts are available. Doesn't really matter. We'll end the day. Okay. Of all things, the game doesn't like to close. Okay, let me see. What do we got? Well, we could do the Strange Man series. We could do Cult of the Lamb. That's what I was trying to remember. I mean, Hollow Knight as well. Yeah, excellent. Good. You're welcome. That's what I was trying to remember instead of Hollow Knight, though. Deep Sleep is great. Depends on how much in the mood you are for horror. I don't know how you are with horror. Don't Escape is kind of along the same lines, but less horror and more survival. Actually, both Script Welder games. Script Welder is an excellent dev. We love Script Welder. Henry Stickmin is hilarious. Gotta love it. Jackbox doesn't really work with two people. Night in the Woods is great. I've been meaning to make a series out of that. I just don't know if I want to start it just yet. I'm still deciding. One Shot, I've never actually played. I've had it for a long time, never played it. There's always Portal. I like Portal a lot. It's not going to be very exciting because I've already played it and pretty much know how to get through them both, but still, it's fun. I haven't finished Shadows Over Loathing yet. Starfield does not run well for me, and I don't imagine Stray will either. Undertale and Deltarune I would love to do a series on. Oh shit, I'm sorry. I forgot you can't see my screen. Hang on. Let me just fix that little problem for you. Let's see. Chat box. Let's see. Display capture. Oh, we want it for this one. There you go. Now you can see. Zero Escape is definitely going to be a series. I want to do that. I fucking love Zero Escape. I have one tattoo, and it's from Zero Escape. But, maybe not a great start to today. It's going to be a long series. Zero Escape takes forever because it's a visual novel and it's all voice acted, which is great. But then if you wait and listen to them actually act out all the voice lines, it's like hours and hours. Um, I really like the idea of Portal, but I haven't really decided exactly where this is going to go yet. Ow. Sorry, my cat clawed my face earlier, so I'm refinding some sore spots. Not bad, just a couple of pinpricks, but they're not super happy either. Actually, I still haven't played Omori yet either. Or for that matter, I haven't played World of Horror either. It looks really cool. Um, hmm. Let's just do Portal. It'll give me a chance to knock out something we can do quickly. Portal is really fun. And I don't know if you know anything about those games, because I think they came out when you were still pretty young. So you'll have a chance to experience them. I think Portal is like Valve's original game besides Half-Life, or possibly TF2, but I think Half-Life. Well, should we do Portal? What do you mean update? What'd they change? Oh, fixed a couple rare crashes. Minor code maintenance, no customer facing changes. Okay, cool. So it's good that they're actually still upgrading that over time. See, I'm trying to find something that I don't have to make a super long series out of. I can just play and enjoy. I'm thinking about Undertale too, but I don't really want to put all the effort into doing a bunch of voices. Because to be honest, like, I don't even know if I will do voices for it. But, like, it's a shame to not do voices. Oh, yeah, I forgot. You're actively playing Zero Escape. Let's not do that then. Good call. It's maddening, isn't it? God, I love Zero Escape. Um, hmm. I need to remember how to edit start replay buffer. Edit here. Okay. Good. So I remember how to do that if I need to. And I will, because we stopped playing PC Building Simulator. Um, Inscription is fun. Still haven't played Homebody yet. Hmm. Oh, were you guys playing like the co-op mode? I've never actually done that one before. I've played the main story, but Portal 2 is one of my favorite games of all time. I was really impressed with it whenever I was younger. I just had only a really shitty laptop to play it on. It's not that demanding by today's standards, but back then with the equipment I had, it was a mess. Mm. AI the Somnium Files. I think it's supposed to be like a spiritual successor to Zero Escape, but I think it's just because it's from the same publisher. I don't think they're actually like canonically related. Hmm. Man, this would be an excellent time for One Finger Death Punch. I'll install that and stream it at some point later. That's right. Hang on. Let me. My SD card is now available for storage again, so I better make sure I got a folder on there. What's the other one? Oh, the redistributables. What else could we get? I've been building up a collection for a long ass time. Mm. Oh, content warning. I told Steven I would download that. Cooking companions. I'm not fucking playing Cuphead. I don't even know why I have Cuphead. I love Cuphead, but man, am I bad at it. I'm gonna fucking break something if I fucking play Cuphead. No way in hell. I might eventually do a Don't Starve series, but I'm so bad at it. I mean, I get pretty good at it, but I'm nowhere near good enough to finish the game. I would love to do Firewatch for YouTube again. That'd be fun. Fran Bow's not so bad. I haven't considered that in a long time. Hive Swap, Human Fall Flat, Iron Lung, Limbo, Little Inferno. Little Inferno's fun. There's Persona 4 Golden. I'll do that one eventually. Isaac really wants me to play it. No. Get the fuck off of here, RetroArch. No one wants you. SKSE. Slime Rancher. Subnautica one of these days. Fucking Wizard 101. My god. I didn't know that was still on here. Catherine is one that Isaac's been trying to get me to play. And I'm not opposed to it. I just haven't got to it yet. And I have Erica installed. I need to get to that. One of my EMS people at work recommended it to me, actually. No idea who it was now. You know what? Let's start the Strange Man series. It's long, but even if I only ever play the Crooked Man, like, I'm down. I fucking love it. Last played in 2020. Oh, no. Yeah, let's fucking do this thing. Watch the controller layout tool. Full screen mode, BGM and SE on, high spec PC. Cool. I don't really need to use a controller for this, but I'm going to try, see if it's enjoyable or if I should just go with the keyboard.